Hi,
Hello.
how's it going? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm splitting time between a laptop that isn't connected to the internet and one that doesn't have a working keyboard. So hopefully this will all go smoothly.
I've done stranger things for these meetings, but I just don't tell you. That's all right.
There's always the backup cell phone, but
It's true. So yeah, I'm the only person that's not sworn in of our commission, so let's do
oh,
it.
you are?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Well then. Okay, so the oath is new.
I've heard.
Um, and I am going to have you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Peter Wood,
I, Peter Wood,
having been duly elected
having been duly elected
as an advisory neighborhood commissioner
as an advisory neighborhood commissioner
of the District of Columbia,
of the District of Columbia,
representing single member District 1C03,
representing single member District 1C03,
do solemnly swear that I
do solemnly swear that I
will faithfully execute the laws of the United States
will faithfully execute the laws of the United States
and of the District of Columbia,
and of the District of Columbia,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the District of Columbia Home Rule Act,
and the District of Columbia Home Rule Act,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office I am about to enter.
the duties of the office I'm about to enter.
Congratulations, Commissioner. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for being here. Good luck.
Congrats, everyone, and have a great meeting. I look forward to coming back another time and spending more time with you.
Likewise. Have a good evening.
You too.
Yeah, we have a few minutes till our meeting actually starts, so I'm going to take a break and get some water. Be right back. Good evening. It looks like a couple more people are trying to connect, so just wait a second to get everybody in.
Hi.
Hey, good evening. How's everyone doing?
Great.
We have a quorum. We do not have everyone that was elected for this term, so I'm just double checking. 3. Yeah, we have almost everyone. That's 7 out of 8. Who's that leaving? That leaves Jean. Okay. I'll message her really quick. Just a second.
So Marie, ANC one is Sean. It's the person who runs our tech.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you all, or the new
Is-
folks. The new folks, anyway.
I was gonna.
Hi, Sean.
He makes sure that we don't get Zoom bombed.
It does happen.
Everybody, I go by Marie Elise, the whole
Maria
thing.
Elise, sorry.
Marie Elise, that's okay.
All right, I messaged Jean. She does not seem to have joined yet, but if she comes in later, we can do that. I guess we can get started. So this is I guess I technically don't have to do this, but someone needs to introduce us, right? This is the January 2025 ANC1C general meeting. We have a lot of new commissioners. We'll just like quick introductions and then we'll get to our business because we need to officially select a chair and officers, etc. But just quick introductions, or not so quick if you want, I guess, starting in numerical order. How's that sound? 1CO1.
Hi. Sorry about that. My name is Daniel Michelson Horowitz. I'm starting my second term representing the proud residents of the southern tip of the Adams Morgan Spear, the blocks between Florida Avenue on the south, Wyoming on the north, and between roughly 18th on the east, and Connecticut and Columbia on the west. So looking forward to serving you all. Thank you.
1CO2. That's you as well.
Hi everyone. I am a first-time commissioner, and I am representing, I guess it is exactly the Colorama Triangle, excluding the park. I don't know if the park is included in the theoretical triangle though, so I'm gonna look that up. So it is the triangle, okay. And nice to meet everyone.
Thank you. There's like technically 3 parks right there also. Colorado Park and Hughes Hargrove Park, which are both 1CO3. And then there's technically a very tiny park that's called Carolyn Llorente Park, and that's in 1CO1. But they're all like adjacent to each other. I'm Peter Wood in 1CO3. Speaking of, starting my 3rd term. Thank you everyone that was supportive so far. And 18th to 19th, Biltmore to Wyoming is the territory that encompasses 1CO3. 1CO4, Maria Elise.
Hi, everybody. I'm Maria Elise Diamond, 1CO4, starting my first term as commissioner. And 1CO4 is right north of 1CO3, so it's basically parts of the north part of Biltmore, Calvert Street, and then like a little tail that goes up Adams Mill Road. So I'm looking forward to a productive term. Nice to meet everybody.
Hi, I'm Scott Olson, 1C05, also a first-time commissioner. 1C05 is sort of everything between the Safeway and the zoo back entrance.
Hi, Linda Laughlin, returning commissioner, second term, 1CO6. I'm the eastern side of Adams Morgan and Linear Heights, and excited to be here and with a lot of new commissioners.
127 is Jean Evans. If she comes in later, she can introduce herself. 1CO8 is vacant, so that leaves 1CO9.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to be here with you all and hope to meet all of you in person at some point. I'm Catherine. I'm also now Catherine Swanson Palmer. I ran as Catherine Swanson. I just changed my name, so hope that doesn't cause any confusion. My SMD is between 16th and 17th and includes the Harris Teeter and also lines up to Columbia. So hopefully that gives you a good idea. And I'm also a first-time commissioner and really happy to be here. So thanks.
Yeah, so we have 8 to 9 positions. A quorum, or yeah, in order to actually function as a commission, you need to have majority of those seats filled, which we do. Some commissions don't have that, so they can't operate officially. And then to have a quorum for a meeting, just kind of going through basics for new commissioners. To have a quorum at a meeting so we can actually take official business, we need a majority of the majority seats to have someone present. So we've definitely got that covered. I don't think we've ever missed that in my 2 terms. So that's usually fine. But before we do anything, we do need to, every January, elect a chairperson and officers. So first item, elect a chairperson. Would anyone like to nominate a move to nominate a chairperson for this 2025 year?
I would nominate you, Peter Wood, as our chair.
I can technically nominate myself, but I appreciate that. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Hoffman. All right, so we have, just for transparency, we do, like many ANCs, discuss personnel matters a bit in advance to try to save people time on this meeting. But if there's any discussion on this point, this would be the time to do so. And that's true for any point. Once there's a second or an item is on the floor, we can discuss it and then raise a vote. Anyone in attendance? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Feel free to oppose. I won't take it personally. Any opposed? Any
Aye.
abstentions?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Appreciate it. Looking forward to hopefully another very productive year as chair and as individual commissioner. So similarly, slate of officers and committee assignments. So we had discussed this a bit. We haven't discussed it too extensively. So if anyone has thoughts or changes of heart or anything, I'm actually going to pull it up because I wrote it on my phone and I'll announce it out here. So the position we discussed, in addition to chairperson, vice chairperson, Commissioner Laughlin, these are suggestions. So I'm going to move that we consider these to be voted upon for the coming calendar year, and we can also change these at any point if we want to. Vice chairperson, Linda Laughlin, treasurer, Scott Olson, secretary, Catherine Swanson Palmer, and representative to the bid, which I guess is not technically an officer and doesn't have any actual authority, but we have someone on the meeting slot, Scott Olson. I'll leave it there just for discussion. Well, actually, I'll just say everything. Committees, alcoholic beverage control and public safety, with me as chair of that committee, Gene Evans and Daniel Michelson Horowitz. Pardon me. Planning, zoning, and transportation committee, chaired by Daniel Michelson Horowitz. Also, Catherine Swanson Palmer and Scott Olson, and public safety and environment committee, chair Linda Laughlin, members Isabel Clemens and Maria Elise Diamond. That's a lot. I hope everyone's had a chance to see it. If you haven't, share your thoughts. If anyone, well, can I get a second? I moved to have that be our slate. Can I get a second for that?
I second.
Sure, Diamond. thoughts, everyone's okay with that? Like I said, we can always change things later on if we want to. So idea is not to have anyone overwhelmed. So if that changes, we can assess. Any comments, concerns, questions about that?
Even officer, I mean, I imagine committees are easy to change, but officer positions are also movable. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, the rule of thumb that
It's
I
not
remind
great, yeah.
myself. Yeah, no, I get you. The rule of thumb I try to remind myself is that within, reason and legal boundaries, anything can be done by a commission as long as the majority of commissioners just agrees upon it at a duly noted meeting that has quorum. So if we choose to change everything on a dime, we can, but there's obviously disadvantages to that. All right, motion on the floor is that slate of officer positions and committee assignments for the year. Any last abstentions, questions? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. All right, we got some structure for the year to start with. So we won't have too much, I imagine, but start with officers' reports, chairperson's report. I was looking at notes from last year. The thing that I said on this meeting as chairperson's report was hoping to get the website in better status. That's mostly happened. We can still work with it, but I think that for this year, something we've discussed is to continue to advance the work we've had, trying to make it so that there are diverse opportunities for people in the Adams Morgan community to engage with each other virtually at official meetings and the cleanups, some of the other events we've had, as well as some other ideas we've tossed out there, I think are good ideas. We'll continue to work with that, but just want to put that on the, so to speak, record that hopefully we can do that. A lot of people, at least to me personally, and I think some others have discussed just that desire to really feel a part of a community, and that comes from a lot of different ways. So that's my main note as chair, as well. Just looking forward to the year. Hopefully this will be a good year working together. There's never a shortage of issues in Adams Morgan and DC, so that'll be fun.
A question.
Hi, yeah, go ahead.
So someone has put a question in the chat, which is the list of committee members available somewhere? And secondly, is there someone that is monitoring the chat for questions from the participants? How does that work?
I can answer those in reverse order. Sean usually does. I mean, also just kind of helping each other on the chat. Sometimes I'm good at it, sometimes I'm not. But it's usually the same few people that have very poignant questions. But even if not, it's what we do in most cases. And then also to your other question, I don't think, or the question that was in the chat, I don't think that the list, I'll write it up and put it somewhere, but it'll eventually get onto the website. It's just, we hadn't voted on anything. So that was nothing official to post. Thanks for that. All right, so secretary. Any secretary's report, got anything? I imagine not. We have no schedule of meetings at this point, so we have to do that first. Treasurer as well. I imagine it's not. I'll even just kind of say we need to obviously get things together. There's some changes that we can make, but in general, I think we'll be set up for a good year. Although we don't have a ton of money and it's slowly growing for reasons I can vent about later. But we got paid. I should actually note that. I don't think the treasurer got emailed on this. Just because I think it was at the end of last term, or that gap between terms-ish. We got payment at I think the first week, the second, third of January. So we have some money that came to our bank account. We just have to shuffle around the paperwork to get people signed onto the account and some other stuff. It's a little bit annoying, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I understand there's some documentation that need to be filed, or physical possession of certain things need to be transferred. So I'll follow up with maybe the incumbents who can guide me a little bit through that as I get trained on these.
Yeah, I've talked to Barney, who's the outgoing treasurer. So I'll help you with that. We'll get it figured out.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, commissioner, individual. I guess we technically have committee chairs. So if you want to mention anything about the committee you're chairing for this coming month, and also SMD, let's do reverse numerical order. How's that sound? So Commissioner Swanson Palmer, start with you.
Did you say chairs or did you say members? Sorry.
If you're chair of a committee, just mention anything relevant to your committee that might come up for this month, and also just single member districts, just if you have anything you want to share just about your SMD.
I don't think I have much to report right now. Just got my email set up today. So hoping to be able to reach out to folks soon. Thanks.
It's a very important first step. All right, who's next? 1C06. Yeah.
I'm slowly digging myself out of an email hole with ANC email, so apologies if I've not gotten back to you. I was out of town for big chunks of time, but I'm really excited for the PSE committee this year because I'm going to propose and work with other members to start a rat task force, starting with our particular ANC and maybe partnering with some other Ward 1 members. But I'm putting together a proposal and I'll be sharing that out soon. We'll have on the agenda, but I want it to be very data focused. I want us to be working with the community to collect information so that we can better work with other city agencies and the businesses in the Adams Morgan community. And I also did invite someone from the Sierra Club who's part of the Zero Waste Committee to learn more about the bottle bill that that the council is reviewing. I'm not sure if it's been read yet, but part of that bill is that it would be a deposit for particularly, especially for glass containers, sort of similar to what some other states have. So I've invited the Sierra Club to come speak on that, and they confirmed, but they didn't tell me the person yet. So I'm hoping they'll be able to make the meeting. And that will be on Wednesday, the 29th is the PSE meeting. So we're going to be off to a great year with rats and recycling.
1CO5.
To anyone on the call who's a 1CO5 resident, I hope you get in touch and we have a chance to meet in person sometime. And I see Kristen from the BID, you're here. I'm looking forward to meeting you, and I forget who the co-chair is. In general, I'm going to be getting up to speed for the first month or so, trying to work through old emails that are in the inbox and understand how we triage issues across the commission. So I appreciate your patience as I get warmed up.
If it only takes you a month, I will be impressed. 1CO4.
Hi, everybody. I don't have much to report because I'm also in a huge email hole. I'm trying to make folders and do filters. That will take a while. But people have been accosting me on the street, talking about bike lanes and bus stops, especially with all the snow. So yeah, there was evidently the bus platforms, especially the one right in front of the urgent care, hasn't been plowed. And I saw someone with a walker really trying to navigate that this morning. So hopefully we can get that solved. And that's, since I'm new, I don't really have anything else to report. Next month, I'll have a bigger report, more exciting, I guess.
That's good. Thank you so much for that. 1CO3, well, ABC committee, our first meeting will be next Wednesday, at least tentatively. We don't have anything, I think, that's come up. I don't think anyone's applied for any liquor or cannabis licenses. Haven't talked to anyone from MPD or the fire department to see if they want to chat, but tentatively this will go on to schedule. Well, we actually technically don't have a schedule yet, but foreshadowing to like 3 minutes from now. 1CO3 matters. I mean, one thing, as Commissioner Diamond mentioned, it's not a new issue, but it's still an important issue, which is the consequences, unforeseen and otherwise, of the changes that happened to Columbia Road, especially in the snow and ice. It's hard to predict some of that. The same thing with bus stops in 1CO3. They're buried in snow and ice, not the only places. Like I went running this morning and the city is mostly covered except for around the White House and in front of the embassies. But yeah, that's definitely an issue, as well as some other things. I expect that that kind of conversation will continue, not just the snow and ice, but some of the kind of mostly difficult logistics of turning for large vehicles on and off of Columbia. I think those are some of the most legitimate concerns that I've been alerted to about how Columbia bus priority changes have affected people. Some people have used that, I think, to try to just obstruct in general, but I think that there's, especially if vehicles are blocking traffic and physically can't through, which I've seen in some cases. Hopefully DDOT is going to continue being responsive to that, but just learning that I'm listening, and I know DDOT has been listening, and hopefully we'll continue to make the changes, because they've said that their kind of modus operandi is to see how things work in practice and then make adjustments if necessary, which is a good and a bad plan in my opinion, but hopefully it'll be good in practice as we go forward. And then also, like, kind of for foreshadowing a bit, Calamara Park is one of the important parks in my the SMD I represent. So Hopefully the budget item to protect for some of the erosion on the 19th Street side of the park will actually get implemented this year. That will be something I'll definitely be putting time towards. DPR's has been pretty good about communicating how stuff goes. So as that happens, I'll share with everyone. One, because it affects everyone that uses the park, and two, it's I think a kind of useful example of how that process can actually, hopefully crossing my fingers, go well, which is the process from identifying a problem to getting the right people to know about it, to getting money put into a DC budget to deal with it, to getting that budget money implemented, and then making sure that it's implemented in a way that's not going to cost more money later down the line. We're on like step 3 of that phase, or phase 3 of that 5-step plan, but hoping that goes well. All right, that's enough for tonight. I'll stop there. 1CO2. Any updates? This is your time to share.
Yeah, nothing exciting as of yet. Just tackling email access issues mostly. As I'm sure other new commissioners are. It seems like some of you were able to do it though, so I'd love any tips or tricks if anyone wants to share. I thought I was good at tech, and it seems like I have maybe overestimated my abilities. But I think I've only spent today, so I think I'm going to take a little more time and see if I can figure it out myself. Sorry. But yeah, so otherwise, I think in terms of actual district or ANC related issues, I've met with Lee Dixon, who was the former commissioner, just to get a lay of the land of what's on people's minds. Also, I've been accosted a bit in the snow and people talking about parking in bus lanes and crosswalks as well, and sort of the Connecticut Avenue where it moves into the next district, which I know isn't in our ANC, right by the Taft Bridge, for those of you who know it. I've heard actually several people have approached me about that particular question, and everything else that everyone's working on sounds really interesting. Yeah.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm excited to chair the PZT committee after serving as a member in the last term. We did not have a meeting or items in December, but we look forward to receiving any agenda items going forward. Anyone can email 1co1@anc.dc.gov. You can copy 1CO3 if you wish. And looking forward to building our agenda. Obviously, the transportation side of the committee is open to feedback, input on how to improve the implementation of the bus and bike lanes on Columbia, and hold DDOT and DPW to account for the failure to clear the bike lanes. I understand that they have mini plows for the bike lanes, but they don't seem to have been used. And we need to clarify who's responsible for the bus platforms. When things change on our streetscape, the entire, all the agencies need to know, so that we can, on the very first storm, not the second or third storm, get those cleaned up. So expressing my frustration as well with that, as I'm a biker, and I also wish that there were some additional passes on some of the side streets with the plowing and salting. So anyways, enough about that, but looking forward to receiving issues for the committee. In 1CO1, I want to highlight that I received some outreach from the developers, the owners, and prospective developers of the Universal North and South Towers. Those are the office to residential conversion at the triangle plot bounded by Florida, Connecticut, and T Street, where T Street goes up the hill and hits Connecticut. If anyone knows where the old post office and the Buca de Beppo and Walgreens is still there, but all the other tenants have moved out. They are closer to getting financing. They are submitting an extension to their Board of Zoning Appeals case to give them more time to get that financing in place, but they think they are closer to launching that construction, which is very exciting. That's supposed to bring 500 or 600 residential units to that building. And then there's also a lot of progress going on at the school on 19th. The Adams Middle School, Oyster Adams bilingual school, and as you've probably seen, construction is, making they're on schedule. I've confirmed to open this fall. The new additional building at the southern end of the school is getting into shape. The scaffolding is down. They're still working a lot. They asked me for permission, and I granted to work on upcoming federal holidays, the 20th, and on February, I think it's 18th or 17th, whichever is Washington's birthday, the official name of the holiday, otherwise known as President's Day. But I did ask them to start, as well as DC Emancipation Day, April 16th. And I said yes on the condition that they start not at 7 a.m., which is their usual practice for weekdays, but at 8 a.m. So they've also notified the neighbors who are sort of on a informal listserv for updates there. That is also, of course, on the DCPS website. But if you want to be included on those updates, just please let me know. And that's it for 1CO1. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that, everybody. Now it's time for public announcements. If you're here from the public to make any comments to the committee, to the commission, this is the time. Usually pretty flexible, but it asks that you keep it relatively brief, to a couple minutes or so. Kristen Barden's first from the Adams Morgan Partnership and Business Improvement District. Good evening, Kristen. How are you doing?
Hey everyone, how's it going?
It's cold and windy.
Great to
Nice.
meet all the new commissioners. And as I put in the chat, I'm happy to have coffee with all of you. It's something that we've done with almost all of the ANC commissioners as new people come on board. So I put my email in the chat. Feel free to email me. I'll try to reach out to all of you as well. But we'd be happy to, my colleague Brian and I would be happy to have coffee with you and tell you a little bit more about the bid, about our programming, answer any questions you have. I've been in my position now for 15 years. So I've been around a minute, and I don't live in Adams Morgan, but I used to once upon a time. So I live in Ward 4 in Brightwood. But I love Adams Morgan, as do all of you very much. So we're here to help and to support. And Scott, that's great that you'll be the liaison to the bid. We have a board meeting coming up next Tuesday on the 14th. It's at 5. It's a Zoom meeting. And we were trying to do hybrid, but that didn't work very well. So we're back to pretty much Zoom. If you want to come to the office in person, you're welcome to. We do have a big screen, but generally most on Zoom for that. So, but I'll make sure that Brian sends you the Zoom invite for that. And also it's in our newsletter too, that went out an hour ago or so. So a couple things about our winter spring programming. We're going to be doing the Valentine's Day decorating contest again. We're going to have 2 categories, one food and beverage and one retail and services. So the contest will kick off, hang on, I was just looking at these deadlines. The deadline to enter, businesses deadline to enter is January 31st. They need to have all the decorations finished by Friday the 7th of February, and then the judging will be on the 12th, and we'll announce the winners on the 14th. So we would like to have a commissioner be a judge for that Valentine's Day decorating contest. So I'll let you talk amongst yourself and decide who you'd like to come help us judge those decorations. So, and like I said, there'll be 2 categories, and there'll be 3 winners in each of those 2 categories. So a first, second, and third prize. So let us know. We're also in conjunction with Valentine's Day, we're going to do 2 different singles mixers. One will be at the new Her Diner, and the other will be at Lamont Royale. So we did one at Lamont Royale last year that was a big success. So we're going to do 2 in February. I think Thursday the 6th and Thursday the 13th are those 2 dates. And then our 20th anniversary is 2025. We were started in 2005. So we're going to be having a big anniversary celebration at the Line Hotel. That'll be on Tuesday, March 11th. You are all welcome. Please put that on your calendar. We're going to have our annual meeting that afternoon from probably 3 to 5. And then right after that, we'll go into a happy hour. We're going to do a special video celebrating our 20th anniversary. So it's going to be a really lovely evening. So mark your calendars. There'll be a lot more information coming out about that, but it's Tuesday, March 11th for our 20th anniversary. And then looking forward a bit more, we're going to be doing the Art Walk again in April. That's in partnership with the DC Art Center, where we match businesses with local artists, and they get to display their work in the business windows. It's a really fun month-long activation that we started during COVID because it was outdoors and safe. So we've continued to do the Art Walk, and then we're looking beyond April to World Pride. World Pride is going to be in May, and the whole city is going to be alive. So lots to come on that. We're going to be doing a bunch of things in Adams Morgan to bring people, that are here for World Pride into the neighborhood. So stay tuned for more on that. Also, our movie nights are going to kick off during World Pride, and I think we're going to probably show Birdcage to honor World Pride. It's a super fun movie, and there'll be some more to come about that and the programming around that. We're going to continue our coffee hours at Venture X every other month. So we didn't do one in December, but we're going to do one January 30th. And it's going to be a fitness theme. So we're going to invite all of the fitness businesses in Adams Morgan so that you can all keep up with your New Year's resolutions. We're going to have them come and talk about all of their offerings. So that'll be January 30th from 3 to 5 at Venture X. And then looking much further to 2026 is the 250th anniversary of America. And so the city is already beginning to get organized and programming for that July 4th, 2026 celebration. So, and it won't be just the 4th, of course, there'll be a lot of stuff happening before and around that date. So stay tuned for more on that, but we are already deep in the planning for the 250th anniversary. So I think that's it from me. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks. I got one quick question, and if anyone else has, please jump in. The resurfacing of the Marie Reed fields, do you know anything about that by chance? I forget if you were ever involved with that process.
I was back when it was redone, when City Soccer and the community, when the foundation partnered with DPR to put in that turf field. I was very involved in that whole process, but I have not heard that they are going to be doing more work to it. But
Yeah.
it might be time.
I think I remember something like being in this year's budget, but I wasn't sure. It's okay. I'll figure out who knows that answer. I just thought I'd ask you too.
Yeah, sure. It might be time because that was probably 10 or 12 years ago that field was redone. So it may indeed need some work at this point. Yeah, but and we use that field for our movie nights. So it's we love it as everyone else does. So we want to make sure that it's well maintained. But I haven't heard about specific funding for that.
I remember something. I forget exactly. I'll talk to Commissioner Evans too. She represents that area now. We'll see if we find anything.
Yeah. Or if anyone's here from the council member's office, I'm sure they would know. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all. Anyone else have any questions? Thanks so much, Kristen. Good to see you.
Yeah. Sure. Happy to help.
And I think that exhausts public comments. So we'll move on to the rest of our agenda. So one thing we hadn't done in the past that should probably doesn't hurt to start doing, but I will not do it tonight, is just officially adopting the agenda. We usually use a Google Doc just so it's easier to adapt, but officially at the beginning of a meeting, you want to have a point where it is quote unquote set in stone. So I'll try to do a better job in the future. We've kind of nominally done that, but haven't done it in as formal of terms as some commissions do. So I just wanted to say that out loud because I haven't talked to anybody about that before. Consent agenda. So if anyone's not familiar, just a quick 101. Consent agenda are items that we don't vote on. It's if the agenda is adopted for the meeting, by default, the consent agenda is consented to. But if anyone before the meeting or even at this point of choosing to adopt the agenda has any item, just takes one commissioner to say, hey, that item I'd like for us to discuss it, because the consent agenda doesn't get discussed. It just gets consented to. So if there's really non-controversial simple items, those usually go in there, makes the meeting a lot more efficient. Although for this particular meeting, I'm just going to quickly overview what these are, just so everyone is clear, just because they're important. But if anyone wants to actually discuss it, just say so, we'll take it off and make it an item that we have to kind of discuss and vote upon. So just the meetings from December, those every month, we'll figure out going forward how who does the typing of the meetings, the minutes for the meetings. I've done in the past. They're relatively simple, but that's another point. That's just a summary of last month's items of action items for the meeting. So the minutes just need to include stuff that we voted on, basically, and then sometimes quick summaries of other things, but those don't have to be too detailed. A resolution authorizing signatories, so it's just the officers. So we just have to have a resolution every year passing that, or I guess every term. So that's something that goes to ANC, and so we'll have to figure out the banking stuff as well, of course. Resolution on the meeting schedule. I wrote one up that's just the standard format that we've followed in the past, which is with one exception for this year, or one deviation, I should say. Every month except August, the general meeting the first Wednesday of the month, and the 3 subsequent Wednesdays in this order: ABC committee, PZT committee, PSE committee on those Wednesdays. October, I recommended shifting it back a week because the first Wednesday is a religious holiday. I think it's Yom Kippur this October. And there's 5 Wednesdays that month, so that's an easy change, I think. We can also change the agenda in the future. We've done that in the past where after passing the year's agenda, we kind of go, hey, we should change this, or maybe we should adjust this a little bit. So this is nothing that's ultimately permanent, but we have to do it to start the year. So if anyone noticed anything last minute that they want changed, say so now, and we'll take it off and discuss it. Otherwise, we can do that later if need be. And a resolution designating location of the financial records. We just didn't know exactly we hadn't officially determined who was going to be treasurer, so I just didn't put a name or a link to that, but that's just a really simple resolution. We'll repeat from the past. So if there's no opposition or interest in taking those items off, the consent agenda will so be passed, which I guess in the minutes goes down as 7-0. And so be it. All right, so we'll move on. We only have 2 agenda items for a regular agenda. The first came from the ABC committee in December. So anytime, and I believe this is according to our bylaws, anytime a committee recommends an item to the full commission, we don't need a second for that item. So it just takes one commissioner to say, I move that, if it's the same thing as the committee's motion. And even if I think if there's amendments to it, that still counts, but it just takes one person. So this, I'll introduce it because this is my SMD. I've talked to the owner. I was on the committee last year. So this is actually like a new area, sort of, I guess it's almost not new. Cannabis licenses is something that the last year and a half-ish started becoming more common. Before that, it wasn't a thing because the rules had changed in the meantime, like DC law and policy has changed. So this is an establishment that's on 18th Street that already is operating as a medical cannabis dispensary. They have applied for something which was new to me, and I think it's new to the city at this point. They'd applied for, what's the specific termination or terminology? Safe use treatment facility endorsement. So basically they applied to in a separate space that's not connected to where they actually have the medical dispensary. It's like upstairs from them, coincidentally, and this is just like setting up for jokes, upstairs from Insomnia Cookies, they are applying to have a space where people can, in a controlled environment, without purchasing on those premises, use different cannabis products. And they get this, they're a very well operated business, and just having spoken to them and being on that committee, I'll attest to their commitment to transparency. They've been actually very, very good about that stuff. But this is kind of, as far as I can tell, an experiment by DC, or at least they're dabbling in the waters of how to make it so that when people are using, especially like tourists, but anyone that has a medical ID card, has a place that they can safely use cannabis that's ideally not in public spaces. So I think that this is an effort for DC government to start to have places that can offer that type of space. So that, like I said, they wouldn't sell any products in this area. They said they wouldn't have music, just some TVs and chairs. I think it's just like a room for people to get a little bit high, but not too high in. Like that's the way it was sold to me, is that they just want a place that, well, they haven't decided if they want the security to be a person that's separate from the store downstairs, or if they just want to have a really good camera system so that they can always see what's going on there. Because it's like up the stairs within like 20 feet or something. So it's really close. It's just technically separate. But from what I could tell, it seemed like not as risky as other things that we've already supported in the past. So I was supported from the committee and continue to plan to do so tonight. Anyone, commissioners, anyone in attendance, have any questions, comments, concerns about this item? All right, I'll move that we support this application, and we don't need a second. Just to further discussion, any other last thoughts? Those in attendance, this would be your time. All right, let's put it to a vote. All those in favor, the item on the floor is an application. Let me read this. I should have memorized it. An application, support for an application of safe use treatment facility for Wash Hydro. So I think it might just be an endorsement on a license, but in any case, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes 7-0. All right, and just one other item. I put this on the agenda, did not come from a committee, so it's up to us to decide if we want to pass or not. I just took, in the light or in the spirit of, I think at one point last year, yeah, it must have been, the spirit of, I forget if it was a letter or resolution that this commission passed in support of, I might be making this up. We've at least discussed how the initiative should be something that's voted on by DC, I believe, if not voted in favor of something articulating stronger language. But in any case, Initiative 83 passed last year, which is an initiative to introduce ranked choice voting as well as sort of open primaries in DC. I just copied a resolution that I've seen going around to other commissions. I think ANC 1B and maybe another commission has actually passed this. I just copied and pasted and adjusted. So this is not my doing, but it's something that we had discussed in the past. So I thought it would be interesting to discuss. So I'll move that we support this. Can I get a second for discussion?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Horowitz. Yeah, any questions, comments? It's a relatively long resolution, again, that I did not write, but I think it's kind of straightforward. Anyone have any thoughts on this? Basically, if I'm summarizing it correctly, it's basically just saying this is what Initiative 83 was written as. It was passed. This is what passing a resolution entails. It should get funded. It's actually not that much money when you do factor in. It's over multiple, like $1 million over multiple years to make a pretty big change to something that's actually relatively cheap. But there seems to be talk that that will be an obstructive point, which is in some people's view, including mine, anti-democratic. So it's kind of the nature behind this resolution, and as well as kind of the associated movement to make sure the initiative gets fully implemented. Commissioner Laughlin.
So it's funding, dedicated funding to educate voters about how the ranked choice voting would work.
What I was told is like most of that money is just going to be spent on printing out flyers that will be mailed to every registered voter in DC saying this is what happened and this is what it is and this is how to understand ranked choice voting in the primary system. It's like most of it's just money for education, specifically for printing off things and paying for postage.
So 1.45 million Oh, that's the, wait, total approximately. So over 4 years.
Exactly.
It just seems like a lot. I mean, I wish they would do more than flyers. That's all I would say.
I mean, I think they are doing more as far as I don't remember exactly, but I just remember being told that the bulk of the monetary cost is just, as I think some of us can attest, the paying for printing and postage is often a thing that
Yeah,
goes up. So I think that's most of it. Like most, it's not like they have much overhead for like staff and things like that. I think it's just
right.
to get it implemented. That's education is an important part. So that's why it looks big. And even then, when you compare it to other items over the course of 4 years, it's actually like less than 1/50th of a percent or something.
Right. That's all.
Commissioner Michelson Horowitz.
Yeah, I actually thought that was a low number for implementing such a big change to our election systems. I'm wondering, does the computer systems and the ballot design and all of that, is that separately funded? And I want to make sure that, if it's not either, that is something that's required to be funded by the initiative process, which I don't think is. But I just want to, put myself on record as supporting full implementation of I-83, and wherever the resources need to go to do that well. There are other states that have implemented ranked choice voting and open primaries, and but I just want to make sure that we're covering our bases in the resolution.
Yeah, I don't, of course, represent the initiative. I did volunteer a bit for them in transparency, but so like in that experience, I did learn a bit. And I think if I remember correctly, the software that's already used is already compatible with this, so there's no actual expense necessary for this to be implemented as far as software goes. So like the things
Yeah.
that could happen cost, I think that they're actually $0 expenses because they're ready for it. What I was told.
Great. I mean, I trust the folks who put this together, and I'm happy to support and put us on the record in support of implementing something that passed with 73% of the vote.
I agree. Any other thoughts, commissioners? Those in attendance? The motion on the floor is to pass this resolution for supporting full implementation of the Initiative 83 that passed in November 2024. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We got it. We're batting 1,000 so far. No one's disagreed with each other. All right, the motion passes 7-0. And I'll double check. That is the extent of our agenda for tonight. So I'll move to adjourn. Great first meeting, everyone. Very brief and very efficient. Looking forward to the year ahead. Have a good night.
Peter, there's one hand in the chat. I believe it's Anthony, our Mocha rep, I believe.
Take that back. So we'll maybe jump back in the agenda really quick. Anthony, welcome.
Can you hear me?
And how are you doing?
Hey, how y'all doing? Congratulations, everybody. Y'all hope y'all ready for the year 2025. Do some service work in the community. I wanted just to introduce myself. I'm Anthony Robertson. I'm the Ward 1 manager for the Mayor's Office of Community Relations Services. I will if you get an email from me or a call from me at night, normally it's not a good thing, but it's to make you aware so you can alert your SMD. And a lot of times if we have anything going on like the snow, I will send out the emails just giving you the information so you can get it to your constituents. I don't know, do everyone have access to their emails now? Did everybody get the email, the email I sent out for the snow? If you didn't, can you raise your hand? Everybody got that? Everybody got the heads up? And another thing with that, please take advantage of if you have a constituent that is asking you or needs some help, and you can call me. I think Commissioner will attest that you can call me and to get certain things escalated that needs immediate attention. So please feel free to reach out. We're continuing to work to clear these streets. We was actually out shoveling snow and 1CO4 today, and we did notice a lot of things in 1CO9 and 1CO8 in the back of 1CO7. So I flagged a lot of things as far as the icy streets in the back there that wasn't treated, that wasn't cleared. So they're out there doing it right now, actually making sure that we get these roads cleared. Ontario Road, there was a few of them. What else there? Champlain was bad. So we worked to get all these things cleared up. So I just wanted to just introduce myself, and I put my name and number in there, the email. Please take that down. Feel free to reach out, and I can, if I can get anything resolved for you, I definitely will. And I look forward to working with each and one of you this year. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anthony. And
Congratulations. I saw you swearing in.
oh, thank you. Yeah. No, we're all sworn in now. So we just finished our first meeting, and I will say, uh, you're great, and the Mokers are often great, and we will take advantage of your greatness by abusing it and
That's
having you.
right. That's right.
So appreciate having you here tonight. Commissioner
Anthony,
Laughlin.
I just want to jump in real quick. Great to meet you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything we can do to help the city, it's the park system, the national parks, that little pocket parks in our neighborhood. Those are the ones that don't have their sidewalks shoveled as usual. So anything we can do to get that moving, because I know that's not
Yeah.
DC property, but that is a big. I'm in 1C06, and it's always the little corner park on 16th and Columbia is always a problem. But I know this is an MPS issue, but anything we can do to move that along, or if you have a group of volunteers that want to get out there, we can help.
Well, yes, the answer to that question is there we have partners in Councilwoman Norton's office as well, what I'm saying, that we communicate with. And we also will be able to, I know, like the DPR part, literally we had got that flag because that wasn't done earlier. All right, there on Columbia Road. So matter of fact, we reached out Miss Barton earlier about the park. She was very helpful. Just giving us the information, the DPR, and we reached out to them to get that done. Now, and we will come out and actually help. We definitely shovel some snow today in 1C04 actually. We was out there shoveling snow today. So we will we will definitely come out and help, and we would be a great contact to be for the parks. Now, how quick they respond to it, don't know, but I definitely can put you in contact with them. I can be the person to put you in contact with them.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Michael, pardon me, Commissioner Michaels and Horowitz.
Yeah, I was out last night on Columbia Road by Unity Park. And the sidewalks were very treacherous. I don't know if you mentioned that already, Anthony, or
That's a Liberty or Unity. I said Unity, right? Or did I say Liberty? I said Unity Park.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I wasn't sure if I heard it. So I just wanted to make sure because it was quite treacherous on the block between the park and heading towards Metro Spirits and that direction or by the chicken place over there. It was really treacherous, including by the bus stop across from the Safeway.
Yeah, yes, sir. We do. We flagged that whole area. That whole area was pretty bad. So
Thank you.
We flagged that whole area.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, thanks again, Anthony. Glad to have you here. Definitely
No
be talking
problem.
in the future. And hope you have a good night.
Yes. Yeah, I have a good one. Thank you.
Yeah. And with that, we adjourn for the evening. Thanks again, everyone. Good night.